Okay, well, if everybody's here and set up, we'll go ahead and get started. So this is the How to Be a STEM Star panel, containing three of our college STEM students, as well as myself as a coordinator, and Anika Scott as a coordinator as well. So a little bit about myself first. My name is Corey Sims. I'm the Ivy Tech Community College, Indiana LSAMP campus coordinator. Prior to my position here, I was at Butler University. I'm graduated with a undergraduate degree in science, technology, and society, which is kind of really where I first really got my first taste of what it took to really accomplish at a high level in terms of science and technology, but as well as see the lack of diversity in the field, which is really what kind of motivated me to be in this position here that I am now. So this panel here today, you're going to get kind of a look into three college students' experience at the collegiate level in STEM, as well as the definitions of mentors and how to have a mentor-mentee relationship, which is really critical to success at the highest level. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and introduce my point person for this particular panel, Anika Scott, if you'd like to go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, everybody, panelists and attendees, and thank you all for joining. My name is Anika Scott. I will be the session moderator today for How to Be a STEM Star. I am a 2020 graduate from IUPUI with a Bachelor in Communication Studies. While on campus, I served as a multicultural peer educator, advocating for diversity-related issues, and I actually presented at the 2019 LSMRCE Regional Conference last year. And in that opportunity, I began my role as an intern with Indiana LSAMP, working with Michelle Quirk. And now I am hired on as a program coordinator for the IUPUI cohort and still taking up some roles that I had as an intern. So I kind of do a lot of things. We're very excited to have you all here today to participate in this panel. So moving on, I'm just going to go down the line and allow our panelists to introduce themselves. Christina, would you like to start?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Preston. I am currently a graduate student at Ball State University studying chemistry. I also did my undergrad at Ball State University and got my degree in chemistry. And during that time there, I worked on research, synthesizing polysulfides for adhesives. And now currently in my master's, I'm doing research for biocatalysis. I got started in LSAMP as like a peer mentor back in, I would say 2017. And through that, I was able to gain connections with other STEM students and also kind of start connections with Dr. Lang, Dr. Gnezdet, and then my mentor at the time. So it has been a wonderful experience. And currently now I serve as a graduate mentor for LSAMP at Ball State as well. So just moving up the ladder here.
Thank you, Christina. We're very glad to have you today. Lauren, would you mind going next?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lauren. I'm a recent graduate of Ball State University. I graduated in the summer of 2020 with a degree in biology and a focus in zoology. Right now, I am currently working at a local veterinarian's office and applying to graduate schools for the 2021 school year. At Ball State, I did undergraduate research with Dr. Jessica Ward in animal behavior. And I joined LSAMP my junior year, and I just loved the program so much. I was able to meet so many great people, able to connect to all the different professors, and I felt the LSAMP was a very big, influential part of my undergraduate, so highly recommend.
Thank you, Lauren. We're happy to have you here today. Ryan, would you mind going next?
Hello, my name is Ryan Watts. I'm a senior chemistry major at Ball State. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm currently researching halogen bonding and ionic atmosphere through the LSAMP program. And the program in itself has paid for me to get that research and also allowed me to connect to mentors older than me and kids in my classes to help me through school. Thank you.
Sorry. Well, again, thank you all for joining us today. To begin us off, we're just going to do a quick, not an introduction to yourself, but it's something kind of fun for everybody, just to get to know you a little bit different. So I would like for you all to go around, and we can go in the opposite order. So Ryan, and then Lauren, and then Christina, with your favorite pizza toppings.
My favorite pizza topping is probably Italian sausage.
Okay. And then Lauren. Oh, we can't hear you, Lauren. We couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I said mine's pineapple. It's controversial, but I love it.
I do as well. I was hoping somebody said pineapple. Okay. And then Christina.
I love jalapenos on my pizza. I love jalapenos and onions, green peppers, all the veggies on my pizza.
Yes, I am definitely a veggie person as
Yep.
well. My favorite pizza toppings probably would be spinach. Honestly, I could put spinach on any pizza. So that's definitely my favorite. Alrighty, so we actually asked our students to submit questions to us prior to this event. So we do have a couple of questions already lined up for our panelists. However, if you are one of the attendees in today's meeting and you want to ask a question for our panelists, please feel free to type in a message into the Q&A, and we will be able to see it there for our panelists to answer. And if you are directing a question at a specific panelist, please also include that in your question. I'll be monitoring the Q&A section of this meeting, so I will get those questions to our panelists as long as you type it down below. All right, so for our first question, looking back at your first semester, what do you know now as an upper class student that you wish you knew then? Brianna, if you would like to start.
Actually, Brianna's not on this panel anymore. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think this would be a really great question for Ryan to answer. He is still in undergrad and he's currently an upperclassman.
Yes, I was looking at this question this morning, just go over it again. But the most important thing I learned after like my first semester here is how important like going to office hours are and going to your professor's study sessions. So really like well maybe not now, but when I was a freshman, most classes I had, it might be like in a big lecture hall with like 100+ students. So when you go to your professor office hours and you meet with them, it helps them put like a name to your face. And it really helps you, they're more willing to help you in class. You get tutoring at their office hours. As an end of the semester, if you like need some help from them or some extra credit, they're more willing to do that because they've known you throughout the semester and know you tried. The second reason that's important is because it helps you get connected on campus. So I actually got told about the LSAMP program going to my professor's office hours after my chemistry labs during my junior year, fall semester. And he like told me talk to the professor, go fill out his paperwork, blah, blah. And what it did for me was it allowed me to like pick out a teacher that I want to research with, and it gave me funding to do research with that I never would have known about if I hadn't gone to the office hours. So just be involved in class and like really try to get to know your professors because they can help you out a lot and they want to help you.
I will 100% agree with everything that Ryan said. Putting in that effort early on in undergrad to see your professors, seek them whenever you need help is really, I felt, instrumental to success as an undergrad because all of the people that I've ever encountered with as an undergrad have wanted to see you succeed. They really want you to help. They really want you to do well in class. So I remember I struggled so much with biology. Biology is not my strong suit at all. So I went to my microbiology professor as an undergrad quite a bit. And going through him, he taught me how to take better notes. I was a junior in college and I still was not taking like efficient note-taking stuff, you know, like I wasn't developing those skills yet as that. So that was really helpful for him to like take that time, like maybe 2 hours a week to help me with taking my notes, kind of assigning me like extra homework to do in order for me to be able to retain that information better. And at the end of the semester, my grade improved dramatically. So that was also great. But then also I was able to go back to him and he actually runs this publication program at Ball State. I think it's called, oh, I can't remember, Find Focus. And he reached back out to me, told me about that program and how I could potentially be involved if I had time for that in my schedule, but I didn't. But I could present through my research through that program as well. So it is a way to get connected and just build good relationships with professors, because you never know, like, when you might need them.
Lauren, did you have anything to add for this one, or can we move on to the next question?
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just to kind of piggyback off what they said, I definitely would say go to office hours. Similar to what they said, I had every single office hour I went to, which was most of them for all my classes, because I just really do value that teacher or professor-student relationship. I was in there all the time, and I never had a bad experience. All they want to do is just help you in any way they can, and I found them to be all very beneficial.
Thank you all. So we have heard you echo office hours and just really getting to know your professors and your instructors in your classes and taking advantage of those resources. Are there any resources that you're currently using with the online or hybrid setting during COVID-19?
So yeah, it's a little bit harder now because obviously like learning centers and all that, they're not like operating like they used to. But I've been using my professor's Zoom hours, and then also they have like Zoom like tutoring sessions now. And my professors like also have like Zoom group chats for us for our classes, so we can like all connect with each other outside of class. And those have been very helpful to me.
I'm not currently an undergrad. I'm doing my graduate studies now, so I don't have a full course schedule like Ryan might have. I only take one class. So for that one class, I will say I do go to virtual office hours for my professor. And he actually really appreciates that because nobody else utilizes that resource that he gives out. So he's there no matter what. So he is happy when a student comes through and like asks questions or seeks his help in any sort of thing that like you might be struggling with. Another thing that I found super helpful even prior to COVID was GroupMe. So all of the graduate students or anybody that like you had class with would start a GroupMe where like if there was questions or if you wanted to do study sessions, that would all go to the chat and you guys can coordinate that way to go to a study group or to meet virtually, which is what we ended up doing at the end of last semester, where we met virtually through WebEx or Zoom and did like study sessions that way. So I think like connecting with your peers is super important as well.
Thank you. So we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit on this next question. As a high school student, what steps did you take to deciding your major and also the college that you attended? And going along with that, are there any classes that you prioritize taking in high school or in college in order to make sure you're successful in your major?
I would say that for me, I went to Cathedral High School. I'm not sure if anyone's, if you know that, but there I kind of always wanted to be like a veterinarian or go into something like zoology. So I took classes at Cathedral that I knew would kind of be more beneficial for that. So I took like a zoology class. I met with the zoology professor and asked her questions about how to get more into it. And so I kind of focused more on biology because I knew that was something that I was more interested in for that. And then, yeah, I would say definitely kind of look to doing that if you're interested in a certain topic. Just maybe ask the teachers that you know if like that's something that you would like or like how they experience it and see what they say.
Would anybody else like to add before we move on to the next question?
It's been quite a while since I've been in high school, but in high school, I really had no direction on what I wanted to do for college. And even once I got to college, I still really didn't have much direction. So it wasn't as straightforward as like, I really want to be in STEM, so I'm going to take like extra STEM classes. With me, it was more so like, I know bits and pieces of what I'm interested in. So I'm going to take like extracurriculars that maybe might be something I might want to pick up in college. But It really depends. I know there's great programs out there. I went to Lawrence Central, so I had the McKinsey Career Center for that. And they have like, they have this building where you can take like specific sort of classes for you to like maybe pursue after high school. So my sister actually took advantage of that, and she's at IU and she's studying microbiology. So what she knew she wanted to do something in medicine. So she did like that medical prep class at the McKinsey Center.
Yeah, the biomedical program.
Yeah, she did that. And then she was also able to do summer research at IUPUI through some program that was offered there as well. And then my brother is also doing that same thing, except he's going into the more engineering route where they have like robotics class at that center. So it's really great if you're able to find resources like that, fully take advantage of them. I didn't. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And that's also okay. You can figure it out as you get into college as well.
Real quick, before we move on from that point, for our attendees, if you are from one of the career centers, please put that into the chat box. That way we can thank your center for having you here today with us. I know that a couple of you there may be watch parties somewhere in our attendee section. So if you are from one of those schools, a high school that you have a career center or a program that goes along with STEM, please put that into the chat box. That way we can see that. Ryan, did you want to add to this question before we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that like there really is no rush to figure out what you want to do, because a lot of kids come to college and they don't know what they want to do yet. And I know for me, what helped me is that like, yeah, I took classes that like went for my major, but then like also like research like things, like if I thought about a specific job I wanted to do, I researched like what that job was, what required, like what was required to do to like attain, like get your goal. And so that let you know like, how much work you have to put in the beginning. So like you in your head, okay, it's something I want to do, something I'm not going to stop with like halfway through.
Absolutely. Thank you all. So from the sounds of it, even as high schoolers, you all had a positive, somewhat attitude about where you were going in your future. How did you maintain that positivity and a healthy attitude when classes were challenging? Ryan, if you want to start with this one.
So yeah, normally when my classes get challenging, like when the semester gets like really like work heavy, what I try to do is like start my work early and like do like bits and pieces at a time. Because what I noticed is that like if you start putting it off and you try to like do your homework like one day, like you start getting anxiety about it, and it just makes it that much worse and worse and worse. But if you do a bit in a piece like here and there, okay, I can do this, I can do that. You start to understand it more too, just like because you're doing it over a longer span of time, and you don't feel this pressure to like have to complete it like right then.
For the other two panelists, would you like to add in?
For me, I would say that when the classes started to get challenging, obviously, like when I came in as a freshman and I was taking those biology courses, I was really, I would get into like spits of being really like, oh my gosh, am I getting this done? This is a lot of work. But what I found to do best for me is that it's just good to like time manage everything. So kind of like what Ryan was saying, like don't wait till the last minute because, we've all been there and it's just like horrible and you're just crying and it's a whole mess. So I would say that the best thing to do is just be like, do a little bit at a time. And then as you're doing that, like maybe like stop for a little bit, go do something you enjoy, like do some art, go for a walk or something, and then come back to it. And I always found that that's like the best way to manage stress and when classes just start to kind of pile up on you.
A really great point that both Ryan and Lauren brought up is time management. That is really, really important. And it's really hard to develop, honestly. Like I have gone through multiple agendas, multiple like apps to try to manage my time. I am still not good at it. But it's a really important skill to have because if you're able to manage your time well, your mood will be better in college. You won't feel as stressed. You won't have like any maybe anxiety or panic attacks or whatever kind of comes with like those pressures of being a college student. So managing your time is really instrumental, but also something that really helped me get through like really hard times in college. Let's say I wasn't doing too well in a class or I was super behind on a class. was just being very grateful to be in the spot that I'm in. So I've always been super grateful to be a woman in STEM, being able to go to classes, because that's not like a luxury that maybe some other women in other countries have. So I've always felt like really, really thankful throughout my entire time in undergrad. And during like the hardest times, I've always kind of gone back to that and said, I'm gonna keep pushing forward because I'm here for a reason and I'm not gonna let anyone down.
Thank you all for sharing. So I hear you talking about a lot of things that you did for yourself, a lot of self-work during those hard times. Can you share, if you had any, maybe a faculty companion, upperclassman, or any peers that has helped you through your undergrad career?
Yeah, I can start with this one. I would say that when I joined LSAMP, I got into the peer mentoring program, and that was right around the time that I was starting to kind of take those like upper level like biology and chemistry courses. So it was starting to get to being like a lot for me. And through the peer mentoring program, I was able to meet like the best peer mentor ever. Shout out to Rebecca, she's amazing. And she just kind of guided me through everything, and she got me more comfortable with like going to our professors and asking them questions, and like she would go with me to tutoring sessions, or she would host because she's very good at chemistry, or so she would like have me and like my friends in the same classes like come, and we would all do like little group sessions at the library and like order pizza and like make it like a fun thing. And so I would say like finding those types of people that just like all they want to do is help or like guide you through these classes is like the best option and like the best thing that I think I did for myself in college. And also definitely, like I know I said this before, but going to the office hours and just like getting those relationships with the professors and like having them like have your back or start to understand you more. If you're like struggling with a topic, they understand that you're struggling with it because you keep coming in asking about it. And so I would say that they understand like how you learn and how they teach, and it's just always beneficial to do that as well. So definitely like keeping those relationships positive and like starting them in the first place.
Okay, now I have a question for everybody. This will go to Lauren first, and then maybe Christina can also take on with this question as well. But did you ever seek out tutoring for STEM classes? I know we heard from each one of you about office hours for the professors, especially with Ryan saying how he went in, spoke with his professor, and that kind of led him to the LSAM program as well. But in terms of tutoring, from that peer-to-peer relationship, have any of you guys actually been able to seek that out on one of your campuses, or actually been the one to tutor an undergraduate or another student in any of your classes?
Definitely. For tutoring, I looked for that probably for every single one of my STEM courses. I went to the Learning Center, and they have a great tutoring program where another student who has like done well in the course, or is an SI teacher for the course or something with the course, they teach you, and they just like you go. It's usually one-on-one, or it's you and like a couple other people, and it's just very intimate. And you can ask any questions you want. And when I say I did that for mostly every single class, I definitely did, and I benefited. I never had like a negative experience. So definitely do that.
Yeah, so in STEM courses, in incoming underclassmen courses, I would say that it's pretty common to have like an SI or a TA for that class. So for pretty much all of my math classes, all of my STEM classes, there was some TA, either like a graduate student or an upperclassman that was assigned to that class to help with tutoring. As well as you have the the Learning Center at Ball State, where you can go in and set up appointments one-on-one with like a student who can help coach you, tutor you through that class because they themselves have taken that class and done well. I definitely did do that as an undergrad, and then now as a graduate student, I'm one of the people that kids will come to for the chemistry learning lab hours, where I get to tutor them in chemistry subjects that they may be struggling with. I will say it is super helpful, even if you are doing well in the class and you really could maybe tutor it yourself. What I've heard from other people who utilize these services is not that they're taking it because they need the help themselves. They're kind of just taking it for accountability. They know like during that 1 hour, they're going to be productive and they're going to reinforce the material they already know. And they're just going to continue to perform well.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, my experience with tutoring has always been great. Learning Center was great. They used to always give you, like someone probably a grade above you that took class before. They probably got an A in it or was an SI leader. And then just the tutoring on campus in general was good. Professors always tried to host tutoring sessions, especially for like freshman and sophomore classes. And once you got like to the upper level classes, you normally got a SI or like expanded office hours or something. So yeah, tutoring is a must.
Okay, awesome. I really like that. I really like that accountability aspect of it as well. Not necessarily just for the academic side of it, but also having that ability to say, hey, I need to be at this place at this time, focusing on this particular task. I think that's something valuable that can definitely add to your college experience and even your professional experience well after that. Okay, so moving right along, for our next question, we'll have something regarding employment. So I'm not sure if any or all of you have any sort of full-time or part-time jobs at this point. But if you do, then how do you manage being a full-time student and also working a part-time job?
So actually, during undergrad, I just love being busy. It's like a flaw. My freshman year, I decided I wasn't going to do any sort of like work outside of school because I really just want to focus on school freshman year. I felt that my freshman year had way too much time on my hand, so I decided to get a job. And I've my sophomore year in college, I had an on-campus job where I worked in the dorm halls, and that was really nice because it allowed me to make money, but it also allowed me to just work on schoolwork if I had to, because all I did was sit at a desk and check people in and out of like the dorm halls. So I could still do my homework. I could still even watch Netflix if I wanted to. So I really enjoyed that experience. I've also had a job, maybe my junior, senior year, working in the emergency department at Baum Memorial as a scribe. And that one is a little bit more difficult. When you have an off-campus job, especially one that you're working in a hospital, you have longer hours. So my hours there were like minimum 8 hours, where you're following around a doctor into each of those rooms and collecting patient information. So obviously I couldn't really do my homework during that time because I was really focusing on charting for the doctor and collecting as much information as I could for that. So I would say it's a lot easier having a job during undergrad if it's on campus, because then you're allowed to do more work that helps you finish school well, whereas others just take up a little bit too much of your time. I would always just kind of keep that in mind. I think on-campus jobs are a little bit more understanding that you are a student, whereas off-campus jobs, they're not so much.
Did anyone else want to add before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I wanted to add on. Oh, I worked a part-time job last semester, last spring. And what I learned was, firstly, try to get below, I would say 15 hours a week. As a student, you probably put in at least 30 hours in the classroom and outside of it. And then on top of that, really try to like schedule it like more towards the weekend so that you like have time during the week to go to your student sessions, go to your office hours and do your homework. And then try to get your homework done early. Like, you got work that night, try to get it done before that. Because there's nothing worse than getting off work and having to do an assignment at midnight.
Definitely, I can echo that in my undergrad as well. Lauren, did you want to add anything?
So during my undergrad, I never worked alongside school, but I did over the summer. So I don't really think I have like a good input on this question.
Okay. So kind of echoing the same kind of question, during your undergrad, can it be difficult to manage your STEM major along with your other interests, such as the arts or any other extracurricular activities that you participated in?
I would say I wasn't really involved in any arts. I did a lot of volunteering during undergrad. I really like doing that stuff. I like giving back to the community. So I would say not really if you have your priorities set straight. Like if you know you want to volunteer, if you know you want to do music in your spare time or anything else that's of interest to you, you'll make time for that. So I actually never went out as an undergrad. I was very boring. I stayed in every single weekend. So that allowed me to wake up earlier and do the things that I did want to do, whether that could be just kind of like cleaning up around the Muncie area or going to a dog shelter to hang out with puppies, doing whatever that was for myself. So as long as you are able to prioritize your time, get your work done when it needs to be done, you can do all of those extra things that you love to do and fulfill you.
Anybody else want to share?
I would say that your STEM major doesn't like really get in the way of your other interests, but it depends like what you like to do. Because when I was like a freshman and sophomore, like my friends like they wanted to go out and party on Fridays, Saturdays. I wanted to go to the rec center and like play basketball. And it's really easy to like get distracted and let that stuff like sweep you away because you can get swept up in having too much fun. And once you make a habit of having fun, it's hard to stop it. So I would say it's really all about like your time management skills and like making a schedule for like your day or your week and like sticking to it. And if you can do that, then you'll be perfectly fine with like other activities.
Thank you, Ryan. I definitely found that to be true during my undergrad too. Wanting to do different things for my friends, but then also trying to find ways to do all of them. So that definitely was a thing for me. And I think any student can relate, whether high school or undergrad or grad. I think that's something that just continues on as a student, but also in professional careers as well. Did you want to add anything, Lauren, before I move on?
No, I just I agree with everything you guys have said so far. It's definitely based in time management. And like, if you do want to go and like do something with art, or you have like a music interest, or you want to like perform on the weekends or do something or go out of town, it's definitely manageable. You just have to make sure that you're prioritizing what is important and also, you know, doing what you like to do as well.
Absolutely. All right, so we are coming down to the last 10 minutes of our panel today. So we're going to kind of go into some questions to lead us out. So for the first one, could you share any tools or resources that have helped you be a successful STEM student? And we can start with Christina for this one.
Successful things that I've been able to do, let's see. I would say some great resources are obviously the office hours, taking advantage of those tutoring sessions that are offered to you. And I would say just kind of being open and honest with whoever you are surrounding yourself with, professors or peers, letting them know what's going on with you. That has helped me immensely. I would say that I am not an easy person to open up to. I am always with a wall built up. And finally, when I was able to open up to my mentor as an undergrad, she was able to help me and empathize with me and give me even more resources and more tools and allow me to dream a lot bigger than I was letting myself do. So I would say just being open and honest with the people that are there willing to help you is a huge thing that helped me throughout finishing my undergrad career and then also going into my graduate career as well.
Thank you, Christina. And we can take one more answer for this one before we move on to the next question.
Could you say the question?
I would say that, oh, go ahead. You go first.
Could you say the question again?
Absolutely. Are there any tools or resources that have helped you become a successful STEM student?
Probably yes. The best tool I've seen is getting in study groups with other kids in your class, because what I've noticed is that most STEM classes you'll be confused from the lecture, but you'll pick up a little bit of information. And if you like get together with other students, you can all kind of piece it together, help each other out. And at the end of the day, it helps you like get the homework done, helps you like stay on top of your assignments.
Absolutely. Lauren, is there anything different that you want to add?
No, I was actually going to say that same thing about getting like a study group together. I just found out to be like the best and like the most beneficial. And then you have like a group of friends also in those courses, so everyone kind of understands each other. And it's just, I've had very positive experiences with that.
Okay. For our next question, how did you go about reaching professors and department connections? So this is more of a networking type of question. If we could have maybe one panelist answer this one.
I would say the most easiest one is just going to the office hours. I know it's been like said a billion times by now, but that is the best way to build up those connections. Imagine starting undergrad in this degree that you're interested in. There are hundreds of other students interested in that same degree. So that first year, the professors don't really know who you are. Truthfully, I would say they don't really get a sense of who's in that area of studying until like you're an upperclassman, maybe junior, senior year, when those classes are now going from 200 to 100 down to maybe 20. That's when they really get to know who you are. So I would say going into those office hours early on and building that connection throughout those 4 years really, really helps. And then professors in that department are also connected with really well with themselves, and then they're also connected well with other professors in different departments. So then if you ever want to do a project that you think is interesting, they can help connect you with a professor that's doing something similar. Or if you're interested in working for some sort of company, they might be able to connect you with the past student that has gotten success through that one company. So that's how I would go about it.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, in our final 5 minutes, if we could go through all 3 panelists, starting with Ryan and then Lauren and then Christina. What are your career goals after graduation? And also, because we're just going to do these 2 in 1, and also what has it meant to you to be a part of the Indiana LSAMP team?
So my career goals after I graduate, hopefully I'll be able to research something with renewable energy, help with that. And I was planning to go to graduate school after I graduated undergrad, but the LSAM program helped me a lot with like starting my like road on like researching and studying in lab situations, helping me gain experience. It matched me up with mentors and people like me in my classes. And in general, it's just like really been a great opportunity to like expand like my horizons and see something new.
For me, my future goals are to go to grad school this upcoming 2021 year, and I'm wanting to study environmental sustainability and environmental policy. And through LSAM, I would say like it's just been the most beneficial thing I think I've done in college. I would have never gotten into research. I would have never explored biology as much as I have through LSAM, and I was able to present my research, connect with so many people there. And yeah, I would just say like that's the best thing that I think I've done. I've also made great friends through it, great connections for life, and the networking is amazing because you get to know basically all of the professors in chemistry and biology.
Yeah, so as an undergrad, LSAM truthfully helped me start my research career because it was a paid opportunity. I was encouraged, I believe, a lot to do presentations to get myself out there and be comfortable talking about science. and the work that I was doing. So that was a wonderful skill to build, as well as it allowed me to connect with students that were not in my classes or students that I would have typically connected with because we just weren't in the same grade level. So that was also wonderful as well, where I could kind of pass on some wisdom that I wish someone would have like told me being an underclassman. And now as I'm a graduate student, LSAMP has also really helped me by pushing me forward to continue my studies and do maybe something after I graduate here in May of 2021. I hope to get into a good PhD program where I can study plastic degradation somewhere, hopefully. And LSAMP has really helped with that because there are bridge to doctorate programs where you get paid extra to go do these really cool like studies that you may want to do, where instead of, if you guys don't know, when you're in a PhD program, typically you get paid as a teaching assistant. But with the Bridge to Doctorate program, you don't have to spend time teaching. Instead, you get to go into the lab and do research right away. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you to all of our panelists for being so insightful and providing us with all of this information today. Thank you to all of the attendees that logged into this meeting today. Thank you for coming along to the conference. If you would like to keep up with our panelists, please check our chat box. Panelists, if you could put in any contact information that you would like for the attendees to reach you, possibly LinkedIn. Again, we all talked about networking in some form, so possibly some form of networking for them to reach out to you in case they want to follow you along your journeys. Again, we thank you for joining us today. And Corey, would you like to close us out?
Yeah, sure. Great job, everybody here. And I know we can't really have a round of applause for everybody, but if we could simulate one for everybody here, that'd be great. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody taking their time with us this morning. We hope that all of the students left with knowledge of being mentored, as well as knowing that students just like you are able to successfully navigate the collegiate journey. We have both undergraduate and graduate students here, so definitely you can see yourself represented. We do have a break from now until about 10:45. Our keynote speaker, Leland Melvin, our astronaut, as well as STEAM Explorer, will be giving his keynote at 11. I see Anika just posted that link here in the chat as well. We really encourage everybody to go check him out. Should be an awesome time. Again, enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you for being with us here this Saturday, and have a good one.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you in the next meeting.